All right, Sam Fisher. Just out with the hound. Right. I'm going to talk about something that those of you who've watched my Media Mindspace and Manipulation series will be already pretty aware of. And those of you that haven't, well, you won't, obviously. Because in that series I showed you the proof of what I'm about to say. You see, everyone's doing the nuts at the minute, yeah? About what's going on in the Middle East. Which, quite frank, I don't blame you, right? You are acting like a bunch of fucking retards. On all sides, yeah? The Jews shouldn't be bombing the hell out of these people, right? But then at the same time, the Iranians shouldn't be rising to their level at the end of the day. They shouldn't be killing all the Palestinians, the Jews I mean, but then Hamas do exactly the same. Both sides, in fact every side in this entire farce, is basically throwing out atrocity propaganda left, right and centre to wind every fucker up in the world. All the Muslims in Western nations are getting angrier and angrier, and all the natives of those Western nations are getting angrier and angrier with the Muslims. I've said this countless times, right? You're all being set up. Every single faction that is involved in this fucking conflict in the Middle East is funded and run by Western intelligence. There's no ifs or buts about that, yeah? During that series I showed you the documents, right? I'm not going to go through it again because I've done it about 3 times now since, and I'm getting sick of doing it, yeah? But none of you are fucking listening, right? None of you are listening, yeah? The Israeli regime, people go, oh, they've got Mossad and blah, 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 blah. They run like, all their money and blah, 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 blah. Right, number one, there would be no Israeli regime if us Brits didn't set it up. Number two, there wouldn't be any Mossad or Shin Bet, right? If MI6 didn't help them set it up. There would be no Shaykh 13 if they weren't trained by the SAS, yeah? Israel wouldn't be able to do half the shit it does if it weren't being funded by us in the West, right? That's number one. Number two, Hamas, set up by the US and UK in the late 80s to basically combat against the PLO, right? That was gaining a lot of traction in Israel. Israel, like it or not, is a strategic hot point for all sides. All sides. We need it westernised to stand any chance of having some sort of dominance in the area. This is why Israel is so important, not because of the money. The Israelis prey on this and play on this, they do, yeah? But it's a strategic hot point. Without that, we're screwed, yeah? Especially if we lose Taiwan. This is why Israel's so important, right? It's our foothold in the area. The shipping lanes are very nearby, right? They keep all of our allies in check by the fucking stupidity that they do, yeah? So Hamas, they serve two purposes. One, they split the PLO down the middle, and then when we finally got them to do elections, everyone voted in Hamas, which wasn't what we were expecting, so then we had to split it into 2 separate factions. The military wing, which the leaders of are all E Squadron, yeah? I don't know if you know who E Squadron are. They're a paramilitary wing of the SAS. Paramilitary, meaning they're off the books. meaning they act like terrorists. The US has one called Red Cell. So the military wing is run by East Squadron. They take all the funding and all the orders and everything else through Israel and through Iran. Yeah, that's how Hamas gets its funding, through Israel and through Iran. And it gives a steady supply of jihadists and a good excuse and a good bogeyman for who's being the nasty bastard in the world. Yeah, same as ISIS. Only these guys actually are actual people. Hamas aren't nice people. You want to see the videos coming out of what they actually do to their citizens. It's not a pretty picture. Especially when they've got food aid going into the camps and they're robbing it all and just beating the shit out of people. Yeah? Hamas aren't nice people. Hezbollah, set up again by MI6, the CIA, during the 1980s when the Lebanese government decided that they were going to break away from the US dollar. So Hezbollah was set up to be to start a coup, a revolution. Eventually the Lebanese government turned things around and decided, oh, well, go on then, maybe we'll go back to the US dollar and not be so silly. Yeah. So Hezbollah, to keep them in check, moved into the south of the country and now run the south of Lebanon. They're not recognised by either the Lebanese military or the Lebanese government, the Lebanese regime. Never have. In fact, rather they went, to be perfectly fair. Houthi rebels. Who are they rebelling against? Because Saudi Arabia isn't occupying anywhere in Yemen. So who are the Houthi rebels rebelling against? They're a rebellious force, yeah? Currently residing, again, in the south of Yemen. So who are they rebelling against? Ah, you see, well, this is something you're not told. The Houthi rebels were rebelling against the Yemeni regime, who were turning away from Saudi Arabia and, consequently, the West. Bear in mind, all these people, we've been sending money to over the past couple of years. Last week, I think it was last Wednesday, the US sent $500 million to Lebanon that went straight to Hezbollah. And then we get to the Iranians. Now, to get rid of Mossadegh, who was admittedly a bit of a twat, in the 1950s, 1960s, we helped the Shah of Iran stage a coup and take over. By the 1970s, the Shah decided that it wasn't going to have anything to do with the West anymore and wanted out. He was also going to build loads of homes for the poor of the place, right on top of oil fields, some of the biggest oil fields in Iran. So naturally, the Shah had to go. Then started a massive smear campaign, right, to get the people to rise up against him. And this revolution was led by the Ayatollah. The Ayatollah was installed and funded, and still is to this day, by the CIA and MI6. Can you see a pattern forming here? Not like what you thought, is it? They still are to this day. Not only that, but if you know anything about the actual ruling power at the top, the Iranian regime, the Ayatollahs, every single one of them have been a Sassoon. The Sassoons run Israel, for the regime. They're the only Jewish family you need to worry about. Bollocks to the Rothschilds, you don't need to bother about them, they're nothing. They're just a smokescreen. Sassoons are where you need to look. They're like third in line to the throne. So, from what I've just told you there, it should be pretty apparent, that what's going on in the Middle East isn't going to go anywhere, because you should have noticed that they keep asking the Americans, when should we attack? How should we attack? Why do they keep asking America? If Israel holds all the power, if the Jews hold all the power, when should we attack? And then they announce when they're going to attack. It's not something you do strategically, is it? This war in the Middle East isn't going to go anywhere. I can guarantee you that. Because that's not how World War III starts. It's looking like things will spark off after the election, when Trump wins. There'll be civil war everywhere, in every nation. That's what they're aiming for. That's what they want, because civil war makes changing governments, changing borders, and consolidating power unbelievably easy. And the feuds that they cause can last for centuries. This is how they're going to bring in the New World Order. The one world currency, the one world government. Not by nuclear weapons, by us killing each other, killing our neighbours. Time to wake up, people. Time to start seeing instead of reacting. And listening to dickheads who don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, see you later.